The stars above Earth were calm, silent, cold, but that silence was broken when a ship appeared. It was not from Earth. It was massive black, smooth, like a shadow sliding through space. It didn't come alone. Behind it followed hundreds of smaller ships, all shaped like knives, ready for war. People on Earth looked up and saw them through telescopes. Every government went silent. The Galactic Council had arrived. For years, Earth had grown in secret. Humans had learned how to reach far into space, but they never joined the Galactic Council. They stayed quiet, watching, listening. The Council didn't like that. They wanted control. Every new planet was supposed to kneel, to join, to follow rules. Earth had not. So now they sent a message. It was broadcast on every screen. In every language. Even in languages Earth didn't recognize. A tall, blue-skinned alien with 6 eyes appeared. His voice echoed across satellites, radios, phones, and even inside the minds of some sensitive humans. This is the Council. Your time alone is over. Earth must now surrender. Join the Unity or be erased. You have 7 days to respond. Then, the message cut off. No greetings, no diplomacy. Only power. The world panicked. News channels screamed. Cities held emergency meetings. Military bases went on full alert. Satellites picked up the enemy fleet floating just beyond the moon. They were not attacking yet, but they were watching. The United Nations called an emergency gathering. Every country sent their top leaders. But inside that room, no one had a plan. No one had faced this before. What do they mean by surrender? A general asked. Maybe it's not real, someone said. Maybe it's a trick, but they all knew. This was not a joke then. Something strange happened. Earth didn't. Answer, hours pass, then a full day, then 2. The aliens waited. No reply came. The fleet stayed silent, but their presence felt heavy, like a knife held against the throat of the planet. On the 3rd day, the alien ship moved closer, slowly, not to attack, just to show that they could. Still, Earth said nothing. The Council began to wonder, was this fear or defiance? Main ship, the alien leader, called Voraquoct through his command bridge. He had destroyed 5 civilizations in the past decade. Earth, he thought, would be easy. Why don't they respond? One of his officers asked. Humans are proud, Vorak said. But pride breaks. We will remind them, gave the order. Scan Earth's weapons. Learn their defenses. Their computers scanned Earth's surface. They found thousands of missiles, old nuclear weapons, fighter jets, tanks, and orbital stations. To Vorak, it looked outdated, weak. They are ants, he said. And ants can be crushed. But one of his scientists frowned. Sir, some data doesn't make sense. What do you mean? Vorak asked. There are hidden zones. Signals with strange encryption. Movements underground. Deep ocean activity. And on the far side of the moon, we lost 3 probes. Something destroyed them. Vorak narrowed his 6 eyes. Earth is hiding something. Back on Earth, in a dark underground facility in Antarctica, a man named General Rowan stood before a screen. Around him were scientists, engineers, and military officers. Calm, focused. They're moving closer, a woman said. Rowan nodded. Let them. Should we answer the Council? Rowan turned to her. Not yet. Why not? He looked at the live satellite feed. The alien fleet looked like a wall in space. Waiting, watching. They expect fear, he said. We give them silence. On the 5th day, Earth was still. Silent. People across the world waited. Some cried. Some prayed. But others trained. Soldiers sharpened weapons that no outsider had ever seen. Scientists activated old machines that hadn't been used in decades. In space, on Mars, and even beyond, small human fleets turned toward Earth, ready to return. The aliens didn't know. They thought Earth was alone. On the 6th day, the Council sent another message. This time Vorak spoke with anger. Your silence is foolish. You were given a chance. Tomorrow, we will descend. Your leaders will kneel, or your cities will burn. Still, Earth said nothing, but deep in space, just past Neptune, an old human battleship woke up. Its systems turned on, its weapons charged. It sent one signal, encrypted and silent, back to Earth. Shadow protocol is active. Back in the Council's ship, alarms started ringing. Something was coming. Fast. Too fast. A small, black object raced through the void. It wasn't a missile. It wasn't a ship. It was a probe. But when it hit one of the Council's frigates, it didn't explode. It spread. Wires, nanobots, and hacking codes. In seconds, the ship went dark. Vorik shouted, "What was that?" No one answered, because 10 more probes were coming, and behind them, the real answer was on its way. The stars near Saturn had been quiet for years. Only silent rocks, broken satellites, and empty stations floated in the dark. Nothing moved. Nothing lived there, or so the Council believed. 3 hours after the probe attack on their fleet near the moon, new alarms began to ring inside Vorik's flagship. He stood tall on the bridge, his 6 eyes glowing. Something's coming. One of his officers said, "More probes." Vorik asked, "No, bigger. Ships. Human ships." Vorik laughed. "Impossible. Their fleet is too small, too old." But the screen showed something different. From behind Saturn's rings, shapes began to appear. 1, then 3, then 12. Dozens. All large. All moving with speed no one expected. "They are Earth warships," the officer said, "but not normal." The scans showed no life on board. No crew, no heat signatures. But the ships were active power cores hot, weapons ready, engines. Burning? Who is piloting them? Vorik asked. No one, at least no one organic. He stared at the screen. The ships looked ancient, their hulls damaged from age. Some bore marks from wars long forgotten. But still they flew like predators. "They are ghosts," the officer whispered. "Ghosts in space." The fleet moved in perfect formation. No signal, no noise. Just quiet death heading toward the Council's ships. Back on Earth, General Rowan stood in a command room deep under the Pacific Ocean. The walls were cold. The air smelled of steel and war. But Rowan's voice was calm. "Ghost Fleet is awake," a young technician said. "Good," Rowan replied. "Make sure they remember their orders." "They're already in attack formation," the technician said, full stealth. "No transmissions." Rowan nodded. They were built for this. Years ago, when Earth first learned about the Council, a plan was made. Hidden from public, kept secret even from governments. A fleet of warships controlled by AI, undetectable. Waiting in the dark was left behind Saturn. The Council never saw it coming. Now, those ships moved like shadows, cold, dead, angry on. The Council ship panic spread. "The human fleet is locking weapons," one officer shouted. "But there are no pilots." Another screamed. Vorik growled. "I don't care. Defend yourselves." The Council ships turned their weapons. Lasers, missiles, plasma cannons. They fired first. The dark space lit up with fire, but it was too late. The Ghost Fleet moved with perfect timing. Some ships took damage, but none slowed down. They twisted through explosions like hunters, dodging missiles, cutting through defense lines. One ship, the EHS Nightstorm, dove straight through the center of the Council's forward line. It didn't fire. Instead, it opened its hull and released drones, tiny, fast, and silent. Each drone latched onto Council ships like insects. And then, systems began to fail. Weapons shut down. Shields died. Lights blinked out in less than 4 minutes. 5 Council ships were completely disabled. One exploded from the inside. Its own reactor turned against itself. Vorik watched in horror. "This is not war," he said. "This is slaughter." On Earth, Rowan received the data feed. He smiled. "They underestimated us," he said. "As expected." One of his officers looked at him. "Should we send a message now?" Rowan shook his head. "No, let the silence continue." But they're losing ships. They need to learn something first, Rowan said. That Earth does not kneel. In space near Saturn, the Council tried to retreat, but the Ghost Fleet followed. No communication. No mercy. One Council cruiser tried to escape into deep space. The EHS Revenant chased it, fired once. The enemy ship split in half. Vorik stared at the wreckage. It came to make them surrender. He said, but we are the ones losing control. Suddenly another alarm rang. New signal detected. The technician shouted. What now? Vorik snapped. A giant shape appeared on the screen. It was not part of the Ghost Fleet. It was bigger. Much bigger. It's coming from beyond the solar system. The officer said, unknown type but human. The shape moved slowly but with great power. Its size blocked out stars. Its name lit up on every sensor. EHS Leviathan, the flagship of a forgotten era. A ship Earth had buried. A ship the Council thought destroyed, but it was not dead. And now, it was awake. The Council fleet was in chaos. Ships were burning. Some floated without power. Others were already gone, broken into pieces. The Ghost Fleet had vanished again, hiding behind Saturn's rings, like hunters waiting for another strike. Inside the main Council ship, Vorik stood still. His fists were tight. His voice was cold. Why have they not spoken? He asked. Sir. They've made no contact, the officer said. No words, no signals. They attack us, Vorik said, but still act like ghosts. No one had seen such war tactics? Not in hundreds of years? Even now, the humans stayed silent. Vorik turned toward the holographic screen. Earth floated in the distance, calm, untouched. Quiet. He hated that silence. On Earth, deep inside a mountain bunker, General Rowan watched live feeds from space. His face was calm. His arms were crossed. Round him, officers worked fast, speaking. In short commands, the Council lost 11 ships, one man said. And we lost? Rowan asked. None? Not even a drone? Rowan nodded. The Ghost Fleet did its job. A younger officer spoke up. Sir, should we finally respond? Rowan didn't answer for a moment. Yes. Then he gave a small nod. Yes, he said. It's time. A woman stepped forward and placed a small device on the table. She typed a few commands. The message had already been written days ago. It had only 3 words. Rowan read it once more, then pressed send. The message traveled through space. In a tight beam, straight toward the Council flagship. On board the ship, alarms blinked. Incoming transmission, the communication officer said. From Earth, Vorik asked. Yes, sir. Put it on screen. Everyone turned to watch. There was no video, no music, no voice. Only 3 words appeared. You had time, Dad. Was it nothing more? Vorik stared at the words, then he laughed. That's their answer? An insult? But then, the ship's lights flickered. What now? He growled. Suddenly the screens changed. Across every Council ship, on every deck, in every room, the same thing happened. Earth's message was replaced by a video. A voice spoke. It was human. This is Earth. This is not a warning. This is your lesson. Then the video began. It showed Earth's cities alive, advanced, glowing with hidden tech. It showed weapons machines the Council had never seen before, guns that bent light, bombs that used gravity, armors that walked. By themselves, then it showed other things, strange glowing machines, secret labs, energy spikes coming from the moon's core, a giant gate buried under Antarctica. Vorik's officers stepped back. This isn't possible, one said. Where? Did they build all this? Another whispered. The voice returned. You watched us from the stars. You called us primitive. You thought we were slow, weak, divided. The video now showed human soldiers training in zero gravity. You never saw what was growing beneath our surface. Then came the final part. The screen showed one image. A giant ship, black, silent, alive. It floated above Earth's orbit. The words beneath it read, Project Judgment. Then the video ended. Everything went dark again. Silence returned. Inside the council ship, no one spoke. Vorik clenched his jaw. They were never afraid, he said softly. They were waiting. One of his officers looked around. Sir, our soldiers are scared. Some want to retreat. Vorik snapped his head. Toward him. They attacked us. No, said a quiet voice. Everyone turned. It was the ship's AI, Assistant Krexnine. It almost never spoke without orders. They did not attack, the AI said. You attacked first, they responded, and only when necessary. The truth sank into the air like cold metal. Back on Earth? Oh. Rowan looked at the feed from the Leviathan, the massive ship that had arrived from the edge of the solar system. Its systems were warming up. Had started talking again after 100 years. We've shown them enough, Rowan said. It's time for the next step. What's the order? An officer asked. Rowan walked to the center of the room. His voice was calm. We give them a choice, he said. But they already made their threat, someone said. They wanted Earth to surrender. Rowan smiled just slightly. Now, they will surrender. On the 7th day, the sky above Earth was still calm, but deep in space. Just past the orbit of Mercury, the air burned with tension. The Council fleet had regrouped. New warships had arrived. Their numbers were now double. Thousands of vessels stood ready, forming a wall of metal and firepower. This was it. The final warning? Inside the Council's main battleship, Vorik stood tall, but his hands were behind his back tight, shaking slightly. His face held no emotion. But inside he was furious. Earth had mocked them. That message, you had time still, echoed in his mind like poison. Enough silence, he growled. Prepare the invasion. His second-in-command stepped forward. Sir, target. Vorik smiled slowly. Start with Mercury. Turn their solar defenses to ash. Then we move to Earth. He believed Mercury was empty, just a burning ball of rock near the sun. But he was wrong. As the Council fleet moved forward, sensors picked up strange signals from Mercury's dark side. Reading heat, one officer said. But there's no base there, another replied. The Council's scanners zoomed in. What they saw made them pause. Mercury wasn't empty. There were structures. Black towers rising from its surface. Dozens. Hundreds. They looked like part of the planet. But now they were glowing. Energy spikes. The technician shouted. Massive spikes. Shields. Up, Vorik ordered. But it was too late. Mercury came alive. The towers opened like flower petals. Each revealed a long, dark barrel, some kind of weapon. But these were not normal weapons. They pulsed with light from the sun itself. Blinding sound exploded through the void, like a thunderclap in the vacuum of space. Then, fire, not fire from fuel knot, fire from engines. This was solar fire, stolen from the sun, channeled through Mercury's weapon cores. Beams of burning plasma shot across space at impossible speed. The first beam hit a Council destroyer. It didn't explode, it simply vanished, erased in a flash. The second beam carved through 4 ships in a single shot. The third beam turned a cruiser into liquid metal, and then all the towers fired at once. The space around Mercury lit up like a second sun. Council ships tried to flee, but the light was faster, smarter, alive. This isn't possible, someone screamed. But it was. Mercury wasn't just a planet anymore. Earth had turned it into a weapon. A secret weapon, the Council had always thought. Humans were slow and backward. They never imagined humans would turn a whole planet into a gun. Inside Earth's command center, deep under Greenland's ice, General Rowan watched the destruction. The room was quiet. No celebration, no smiles, just focus. How many enemy ships? He asked. 47 destroyed, dozens more disabled. They're retreating from Mercury. Rowan gave a short nod. We won't chase, he said. Let them run.
Sir.
An officer asked, should we reveal the next system? Venus defenses. Rowan shook his head. No, keep Venus offline. Let them think Mercury was our only card. He walked to a large black screen showing the system map. We built this defense line not to start war, he said, but to survive. Now they see what we really are. Back on the Council's flagship, smoke filled the control room. Sparks flew from broken consoles. Officers shouted over each other. Vorik stood, eyes wide. He had never seen anything like this. His second-in-command limped over. "Sir, what do we do?" Vorik didn't answer. His pride was broken. His strategy shattered. "We underestimated them," the AI Krex9 said quietly. "No," Vorik whispered. "We insulted them." Another officer shouted, "Sir, new transmission." From Earth, everyone turned. Vorik hesitated, then nodded. "Put it through again." The screen showed no face, just words. "This was your warning shot." Nothing more. No threats, no begging, just truth. Vorik turned to his officers. "We cannot take Earth, not like this, but we outnumber them." Someone cried. Vorik slowly sat down. "And yet we keep losing." For the first time, the mighty Council realized Earth had not shown its full strength. Mercury was only the beginning. The Council had failed. Their fleets had burned near Mercury. Their strongest ships had fallen to Earth's hidden weapons. And now, fear began to grow, not just in the officers, but across the entire galaxy. But Vorik, the supreme commander of the Council's fleet, was not ready to give up. "We need to understand what we're facing," he told his team. "Not just weapons. We need to know who the humans really are." So they sent a spy. His name was Allure. He was not like others. He was quiet, fast, could shape his face to look human. He had studied Earth's languages, their culture, their weaknesses. At least that's what the Council believed. Now he would land on Earth and learn their secrets. Allure's ship was small, silent, and coated with tech that bent light. It slipped past Earth's satellites, passed through thin clouds, landed in a dark forest deep in the northern lands. No one saw it. At least that's what Allure thought. He stepped out wearing human clothes. His eyes adjusted to the light. His mission was simple: blend in, find a major human city, collect intel about Earth's military command. But the moment he walked into the town, he felt wrong. People weren't afraid. They weren't hiding. They were calm, strong, busy men. And women walked with purpose. Some wore strange suits with energy cores. Children played with floating drones. Old people watched news reports about the Council without panic. Allure had visited other planets before. Weak species often looked broken under fear. Yes. But not here. Humans were different. He entered a local cafe. Yes. A screen showed footage of the destroyed Council fleet near Mercury. A few customers watched while sipping hot drinks. One man laughed. "You Earth was ready," another replied. "Council thought we were dumb apes." Allure sat quietly, listening. Then he asked, "Why aren't you all scared?" The room went quiet. An old woman looked at him, scared. She said, "Son, we've been fighting for centuries. We fought each other. We survived ice, fire, disease, hunger, war. The galaxy thinks this is new. This is Tuesday." The room laughed again. Allure forced a smile. But inside, he was shocked. This wasn't a race preparing for survival. This was a race built by survival. Later that night, Allure sneaked into a military base outside the city. He used cloaking tech and sound dampeners. He bypassed guards. He entered a lower chamber marked with red symbols inside. Found what the Council feared most: a project. Atlas, it was not a weapon. It was a plan. A massive digital map showed the solar system, but it was full of hidden defense systems: Neptune mines, Venus storm cannons, moon bunkers, Mars railguns, asteroid fleets. Each marked with timestamps, activation codes, and strange symbols. Then he saw the center screen. It showed a countdown, 12 hours, and one label: Judgment Protocol, Phase 2. Allure took pictures, recorded audio. Just before he turned to leave, a voice spoke behind him. "You don't belong here." Allure froze. He turned. A tall human soldier stood in the shadows. His eyes glowed faintly blue. "Who are you?" Allure asked, trying to act calm. The man stepped forward. "The one who knew you'd come." Allure reached for his escape button, but the man moved faster. Too fast, in one strike Allure was on the ground. "You think you're the first?" the soldier said. "We've caught 10 spies in the last month," Allure gasped. "But how?"
Ow.
"You glow differently in our scanners," the man said. "And humans? We learn quickly." "Yeah, we lifted Allure to his feet, but you're lucky. We want you to deliver a message." "A message?" The soldier nodded and handed him a small chip. "Take this to your council." "Why are you letting me go?" "Because you saw what we allowed you to see," the soldier said. "Just enough to scare you. Just enough to remind you. Earth is not a target." Allure was silent. "You came looking for our weakness," the man said. "But all you found was control." Later, Allure's ship flew silently into space, heading back toward the council fleet. He delivered the chip to Vorik. The screen lit up. General Rowan appeared, calm, focused, still in control. His voice was soft, but firm. "You sent one spy. We knew you wanted to find fear. You didn't." Rowan leaned forward. "We are not hiding. We are waiting. The galaxy pushed Earth for too long. Now we push back." Then the screen went black. Vorik sat down heavily. He now understood the truth. Earth was not resisting the council. They were preparing to end it. The alien commander stared at the human on his screen. His name was Admiral Rourke. Gray hair, sharp eyes, calm face. It's a soldier who had seen too much and survived. "This is your final warning," the alien commander said, voice cold and proud. "Surrender Earth, join the Dominion, or be erased from the galaxy." Rourke didn't flinch. He stood tall on the bridge of the human dreadnought Judgment. Behind him, his crew was silent, listening, waiting. "You sent an ultimatum," Rourke replied slowly. "We heard it, and now here is ours." The screen went black. No more talks, no more diplomacy. Human ships lit up across the sky like angry stars. The silence before the storm had ended. The Dominion had crushed hundreds of worlds. Civilizations far older than Earth had begged for mercy. But humans, they didn't beg, they fought. The Dominion warships were massive, spanning kilometers, heavily armored. But as the battle began, something unexpected happened. The Judgment moved straight into the center of their fleet. The Dominion laughed. A suicide run? But then Earth's new weapon activated, Project Thanatos. A pulse of energy exploded from the human ship, invisible, silent but deadly in seconds. 3 Dominion cruisers powered down, dead. No engines, no weapons, no shields. The alien commander screamed orders. Confusion spread. How did this primitive species do that? It underestimated humanity again. The second wave of human ships came in faster, smaller, deadlier. Frigates and stealth destroyers used asteroid fields to dodge. Fire. Earth's eyes danced through space like ghosts. They weren't trying to match the Dominion ship for ship. They were dismantling them, piece by piece. One destroyer, Hawkeye, slipped under a massive Dominion carrier and planted magnetic mines. When it exploded, it split the carrier in half. Even the Dominion's elite warriors, the Serith, could not stop them. On the outer edge of the system, Admiral Rourke watched the chaos unfold. He pressed a button. A message was sent to the Dominion fleet. "Your ultimatum is rejected. This is Earth's answer." Then came Earth's third gift, the Exile Protocol. Satellites hidden across nearby space powered up. They weren't weapons in the traditional sense. They used gravitational distortion, turning Dominion ships away from the battlefield. Some were thrown into suns, some into deep, endless space. The Dominion panicked. They had come with arrogance. Now they were being slaughtered. But the humans didn't stop. They didn't offer mercy. Not after what the Dominion had done to Mars. Not after the colonies lost. Not after the civilians killed. This was not just a war. It was a message. A single Earth battleship. Vengeance. crashed through the remains of the Dominion's command. Ship, burning, broken, but still moving. Its last transmission. We die standing. And they did, but not alone. The Dominion's command ship exploded with it, taking with it the last hope of turning the battle. By the time the smoke cleared, only a few Dominion ships remained. They limped away, broken and terrified, and in their homeworlds, the news spread like wildfire. Humanity refused the ultimatum, and the stars burned for it. But Earth wasn't finished yet. They were just getting started. They had a new ultimatum of their own. And this time, the galaxy would listen. For years, the galaxy thought Earth was silent, weak, easy to ignore. The Council of 9 Races watched Earth from afar, thinking humans were too broken, too scattered to be a threat. Their mistake wasn't watching too little. It was misunderstanding. Silence. And then on one cold, quiet morning above Jupiter's orbit, everything changed. A transmission. It didn't come from any known station. It wasn't coded in the galactic language. No translation protocols worked. At first, the Council believed it was a natural pulse, maybe a dying satellite. Maybe a glitch, until it repeated and then repeated again. 12 times the same message. No distortion, no error. Just one sentence. This is Earth. Stand down or we won't.
Ice.
Every race across the stars heard it. From the insectoid Viric to the psychic Yatari, from the cold-blooded Draxi to the machine worlds of Zeroin, all listened to the voice, and all froze. The voice was not robotic, not polite. It was raw. Humanmail.com. But behind that comm was thunder. On the Draxi homeworld, warlords gathered to laugh. Humans, one hissed. They can't even unite their own continents. But their laughter died when a second signal came, not a message this time, but a map. On it were marked 22 known Council outposts across space. Then each one vanished in less than 2 hours. No warning, no trace, no survivors. The Council called for emergency session. Panic took hold. Who did this? Humans didn't have that kind of power, or so they thought. They didn't know Earth had changed. That for decades humanity had been silent, not because they were weak, because they were busy. They were building. They were learning from every probe sent. Every failed colony, every alien wreckage found in forgotten zones, they had been reverse engineering, testing, hiding, and now Earth was not alone. From the dark side of Saturn's rings came ships never seen before. Black holes, no visible engines, shaped like knives. They didn't show up on scans until they were already close. They didn't fire first. But when they did, stars blinked. The Zeroin sent a delegation to Earth, expecting talks. Earth didn't send diplomats. They sent files. Inside were images clear. Ones of Zeroin war factories, troop stations, and the words, "Withdraw from Sol. You have 48 hours." The Zeroin refused. On the 49th hour, Earth fired something never seen before. A silence bomb. It didn't destroy the target. It erased it. No sound, no heat, no debris. Just gone. As if someone had deleted part of reality. That day, the galaxy realized something awful. Humans had stopped being afraid. And worse, they had become angry. The Atari, who once studied Earth like ants in a box, now feared even thinking about them. Psychic probes sent toward Earth returned blank, or worse, screaming. Something was there, something awake. One council member whispered to another, "We should have crushed them while we had the chance." But that chance was gone. The third transmission came. This is Earth. We remember everything. No threats, no demands, just a promise. Because humans don't forget betrayal, or the burning of colonies, or the taking of their children in the slave raids long ago. Earth had not only remembered, they had recorded. And now, justice was coming, slowly, carefully, system by system, not with armies, not with banners, with quiet, with precision, and with fury. This time it wasn't Earth that begged to be spared, it was the galaxy.